So I was somewhere today and I had to counsel a teenage girl. And she talked about moving to a new school. And when she got to this new school, she met two groups of girls. The first group of girls were the girls that don't talk boy stuff. They just focus on their schoolwork. They're just serious about their schoolwork. But when she arrived at this school, they had a closed circle. They were not open to new friends, all right? So there was a second group that was really friendly. And by the time she joined them, within the first 2 weeks, some of the teenage girls were already asking her, has she dated before? Has she had her first kiss? They were already on and on about stuff. They were the ones friendly towards her. They were the ones nice towards her. And there were a couple of other things, all right? So why did she come to meet me? She came to meet me that talking to her about dating this guy. She's been in this school for like a month, all right? And they're like talking to her about dating this guy. This guy has been with like several other girls in the school. And so when they spoke to her, she said, how can I want to be with someone who will definitely play me? And they're like, no, dating is dating. Even if he plays you, at least you dated. So if you're listening to me, it means that our children are making a really big deal about dating. So there's no self-preservation. If you've been following my classes or live streaming sessions that I do, you would notice that I keep talking about the girl needs to feel a sense of honor to protect herself. So we're not teaching that enough, all right? I don't think we're teaching that enough. I will eventually digest this and see what I can share on it. But let me move the conversation forward to why I did this video. So she said there's that pressure, and then when she says she didn't want to date, they told her, no, it's not a big deal. Dating is not really wrong. But let me tell you why I think that girl is going through peer pressure right now, and she's going to give in. I spoke to her, but she's going to give in. When she started talking, she said when the girls told her that she should date, she kept saying, I'm not allowed to date. She kept saying, I'm not allowed to date. And I was triggered by that statement. I'm not allowed to date. So I had to step back to say, oh, you're not allowed to date. She said, yes. I said, so if you were allowed, you would date. She said, yes. I said, I asked her, you don't think it's really a big deal dating, right? But your parents kind of make it a big deal. She said, yeah, that she thinks her parents make it more of a big deal than it is. And then the kid that she was talking to kept telling her, it's not as if you're going to tell your parents you're dating now. So if you're a parent out there, I have two advice for you. I'm going to talk to two categories of parents. If you're the parent of a child whose only reason for not doing wrong is because they are not allowed, I want you to know that you haven't done any quality education yet. And so don't rest on your oars. It's okay for you to be there, right? At that point where your child is saying, I'm not allowed to. At least there's a sense of respect with saying, I'm not allowed to. But you need to move on, take your child beyond, I'm not allowed to, for it to be something they don't want to do. If you check the last video that I uploaded, the title of that video is that the one person who can help your daughter. Check my timeline. You see a video I did. Your daughters have to want to choose purity. Your daughters have to want to choose to do the right thing. If they want to choose to do the right thing on their own, even if they walk into a space where there's pressure, they'll know when to they'll cut off from the people that are pressuring them. They will not go on having conversations because they will start to understand influence, So if your child, so today like this evening, call your daughter and say, do you have a boyfriend? If she says no, and you ask her, why don't you have a boyfriend? And she says that you won't allow me to, then it means you have some conversation coming. So let me tell you what I asked that girl to do. I asked her to go and find out why her mother doesn't want her to date. She's about 14 or 15. I asked her to go and find out why her mother doesn't want her to date. And when we meet, because I'm going to be meeting her in 2 weeks, she should bring it for me. Why is your mother not allowing you to date? Even when girls come to my bootcamp, a big part of what I try to do or we do is to get the girls to not want to do it on their own. Not because daddy and mommy said, but they see the reason. I mean, there's a video we put up during our last boot camp, the December boot camp, where I talked about how decision making is delayed in the brain of a teenager. So they may not always figure out the consequence on time. And one of the girls there said, whoa, I get it. Now I understand. I've never seen it from this point of view. Voila, that's the goal. The goal is not to be the parent that tells them, this is not allowed, I'll kill you. The goal is to raise a daughter who wants to say no. So if you're listening to me right now, there are different things you need to do today, like this evening. I need you to check on my link in bio. You'll see a YouTube video that says how to raise a daughter who says no. Look for that video. If you look at my timeline right now, you see a video where I said the one person who can help you. I want you to go to that video and also watch. Now, if you're the parent of the daughter who is quick to tell other girls that dating is a normal thing, even if he plays you, I want you to step back to say, in what ways have I contributed to this? I'm on Instagram, and from time to time on different handles, I see where I saw a post last week where a mother said that she asked her daughter, do you have a boyfriend? Bring him home, right? And started playing with them, and it made them uncomfortable, and they didn't do wrong. You see, that narrative, the way a Proko doctor would say, life doesn't work the way it works in your head. At some point in my life, my mother knew about my boyfriend. She teased me about it. It didn't change anything. There were other things I needed to know. There were decisions I made away from her. There were things I did away from her. In fact, if not properly managed, a child can think that parental presence is endorsement of the relationship. So how about we do something that tells our daughters, when you get to this age and have this boyfriend thing, I'm in it with you. I don't want to go ahead of myself. So what am I saying in essence? Stop, when people are talking about children choosing purity, stop making it look as if those people are obnoxious. Stop making it look like, maybe I shouldn't tell you to stop. Reconsider your stance in saying they're just making it a big deal. They're not just making it a big deal. In the euphoria of teenage, experiences, they can do life-defining things. Girls in particular are susceptible. They're seeking validation from the boys. They can do something that can hamper their future. And this thing is not like, it's not a religious thing, it's a truth. So why don't you focus on teaching your daughters how to make friends with boys that doesn't need to be emotional? Because if there's emotions, the compromise is crazy. I know how many reports I get from time to time about girls really going down in school with boys. Some, the boy is asking, she's giving in. Others, the girl is asking. And one of the things I know that is responsible for this culture is media. Media makes it a norm for teenagers to date. I say it is not a norm. Teenage years is also the same time that they are making life-defining decisions. They are writing JAM at the same time. They are applying for scholarships at the same time. They are trying to choose a career at the same time. So our goal as parents is to teach them how to navigate between the puberty emotions and those pressures. Because the truth of the matter is that many times they can't do both at the same time. So if your daughter starts to prioritize dating, relationships, and puberty pressures and those things, she is not going to do as well academically. There's going to be a distraction. And there's a way I want us to go about this, which is, even in providing sex education, there's a point where you move from just talking about puberty and emotions and you start entering dating education. I believe that one of the biggest challenges that parents have with their teenagers is that at the phase they are supposed to start talking about dating education, they're still talking about puberty. I don't know if you understand me. So if you're the parent that de-emphasizes the need for teenagers to stay out of dating rings, you need to reconsider it. You need to think about the kind of choices you made. You need to think about not just choices sexually. I'm talking about how you prioritize something and how you probably paid for it another way. You get the idea? So I had to stop to say, look, we have two problems. You have the children that are making dating such a norm that they can date people who will be mean to them, who will treat them like crap just so that they say they can date. There's a massive ignorance going on there. Then you have the other girls, on the other hand, who will give into pressure because the only reason they're not doing stuff is because mommy and daddy said so, which is not good enough. So what are we doing this season? Number one, we have a boot camp for girls, age 3 to 17. The boot camp is free. The boot camp is absolutely free. So if you'd like to register your daughters for that boot camp, when I repost this replay, I'll type the guide to you. You just need to send a WhatsApp message with the word girl to 081 00 944 320. That's our office line, 081 00 944 320. If you're watching this video from outside Nigeria, then you know you need to put the code +234. That's rule number one. Number two, in a world where media is over-sexualized, people are largely ignorant. It is not easy to raise a wholesome daughter today. Some things that you would do and think that, oh, this must build my daughter's self-esteem, can actually undermine it. Let me give you a quick example. My mom, most times the first thing we see, she talks about appearance. Oh, you made your hair, or you didn't do makeup, or you did. It's always superficial. So you could be doing that to say, I want her to always look neat. But when you pay attention too much on superficials, we have a bigger problem. So maybe you're thinking that me always talking to my daughters about looking neat, shoes, everything being on point, is supposed to help them to build, certain, values. But it could be undermining self-esteem. That's why you can't fly blind. A Aproko doctor always says that life doesn't work the way it works in your head. So you need to get equipped. So we have an academy for parents of girls called the Equip Academy. This April, we're launching 4 courses. Starting April and wrapping up in May. The first course is Sex Conversation Starter. Learn how to start talking to your daughters about sex. And how do you talk to them in a way that they are equipped to protect themselves from abuse, but also make wholesome decisions? How do you help them build conviction on what to do right? The second course is recovery. Let's say you found your daughter doing something wrong, whether it's porn, destructive habits, especially sexually related destructive habits. How do you support as a parent for them to overcome it? Some of us, once the child says they are sorry, they have remorse for 2 weeks, it's over. But it's not over. Something led them there. So how do you know what to do to support your daughter? The third course is Ready to Date. I talked about this in the first video. I don't know if it came out with all the audio problems. Many parents, at the point where we are supposed to transit from puberty education to dating education, we're still on puberty. So there's a lack of sync. And so your daughter becomes dissatisfied with what you're offering at the time, and they turn to friends. Not a good idea for them, but that's the reality. So when you take our third course titled Ready to Date, we show you what to start talking about once your daughters hit like 14. What to start talking about, how you prepare them for dating and everything. It is through that you can also pitch to them. Through that you can literally pitch to them what your ideal age for dating is. The fourth course is Healing from Trauma. A mother who was sexually abused, who was abandoned, who was neglected in childhood or even in previous relationship, who experienced a shameful experience, hostility, can be carrying trauma, and they can be parenting from that point of view. And it has an effect on how they parent. It has an effect on the mother's well-being. It also has an effect on what kind of environment the mother is creating for their daughters. We want to deal with that. So for this first phase of our courses, those are the 4 courses. We're bringing in amazing coaches to work with us. It's going to be profound, all right? So register to join Equip. Register to join our academy and take it, because parents have started registering. Many are registering for 2-3 courses at once. You have the liberty to choose which one. But just so you know, the deadline for early bird is Wednesday. That's in 3 days' time. So early bird discounts end on Wednesday. So make sure you take advantage of those discounts. Again, to learn more about the Equip Academy, all you need to do is send the word Equip to the same WhatsApp number I called earlier on. So I'm going to post this video. I'm open to hearing any questions that you have. See ya.